standing by your side, with my heart on high and dry. I'll do what it takes to make you believe. With my heart on high and dry. We do what we want, but we're not free. With our hearts on hyperdrive. I saw you dancing like heavy smoke. Have you fixed that treasured heart that's so broke? Here is a tape, follow me, give this a meaning. Do you wanna feel the rush when somebody is listening? glass to a full big mind, and I am not the vagrant kind. Baby, I just wanna take you home, so lose the grip and make it on your own. Lady, she's got a claustrophobic mind, and I am not that vagrant kind. Not that vagrant kind. Yeah!
There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games,
There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no.
Down in the dungeon is all we know, where the shining light, we never go into the open. As far as you can see it, wasting there a big bright destiny. Don't you feel like breaking free? Open your eyes, embrace what you see now. Don't you feel like cutting loose? Yeah, cutting loose, cutting loose. I'm alive, I do or die. My mind stretched out on the canopy. My dreams getting bigger than you and me. I'm alive, I do or die. Taking a leap, now I'll never agree. My dreams getting bigger than you and me. I reach for the summit, calling for you. I close my eyes, can you feel it too? Don't wanna be alone when I got you. Escape with me, let me fall into you. Don't you feel like breaking free? Open your eyes, embrace what you see now. Don't you feel like cutting loose? Yeah, cutting loose, cutting loose. I'm alive, I do or
What is up, everybody? Showtime!
Showtime. What's going on, Sean? How you doing?
Man, I am not gonna lie. I have hope for Saturday, and I think that actually makes me feel more concerned in a way, because at least if I don't have hope and I go into it without hope, then I feel okay because then I kind of know what to expect. But there's reason for hope, but like I said, it kind of scares me.
Hey, let's hope. Let's keep hope alive, man. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Generation Orange. I'm your host, Mark Segovia, alongside my co-host, Sean Ringrose. And obviously, it's a little bit of a down week, slow week. Dynamo are off. So, I kind of figured that, hey, why not just get on here and talk Dynamo, even though they've been off and, we basically have nothing to talk about.
To be fair, Mark, no. To be fair, Mark, the Dynamo have been off since the season started.
True. I'll give you that one for sure, man. But man, how's everything going, Sean? Besides, the hope, how's work, how's all that stuff before we get into the Dynamo stuff?
Work is good, life is good, can't complain. Same old, nothing special, nothing like that. But man, I'm busy. Similar to some other people that I know.
Yeah, man. Busy time for me as well. But I had something cool happen to me the last couple of days, man. Obviously, I know a lot of you guys watched the Ted Lasso show and all that good stuff, man.
I'm still waiting for my delivery. I'm just saying, bro.
A couple of weeks back, man, obviously they had the announcement that Nike was going to be their official kit manufacturer, especially for this season. And obviously that's cool. They did the whole little presentation, whatever. And then they announced, I guess they announced when the season was going to start, and it was obviously March 15th. For those who haven't watched it, free promotion for Ted Lasso. It's all good. We love Ted, but lo and behold, man, on Monday morning, there's this big ass package in my door. And my wife is calling me. She's like, "Hey, what did you order?" And I'm like, I haven't ordered anything. Like, well, you got this big ass package in the front door with your name on it. I'm like, well, shit, I'll open it. So, she opens, she says it's from Nike. I'm like, from Nike? I'm like, from Nike? I'm like, and the first thing I'm like, man, somebody hacked into my Nike account and ordered shit, ordered a whole bunch of shit or whatever, So I'm like, fuck, let me get onto my account. Maybe somebody, use some of my money, whatever, this and that. Nah, man, nothing. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, hey, babe. Well, I was like, I'll call her up, open it up, see what's up. There's a frame in it. It's a framed picture of the tweet that I sent Nike at Nike asking, hey, when are the kits gonna drop? Because obviously, Nike kits for AFC Richmond, people want to cop. And lo and behold, there's a Nike box inside. She opens it up. Big AFC Richmond box comes out of it. I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, what's this? I'm like, what's this? I'm all like a 5-year-old Christmas morning, man. I this is not expected at all. Not at all. So shout out Nike for real, man. Checks over stripes every day, all day. but
not sponsored. Not a sponsored stream. Just so we're clear.
Not a sponsor, but man, we would love to have y'all. But man, we opened it up, man, and lo and behold, man, AFC Richmond shirt, a scarf, a couple stickers, a note from a couple quotes from Ted Lasso, and lo and behold, the kit. And I'm like, dude, and a real nice hoodie as well, man. So I was like, whoa, what the hell? So, I mean, obviously, if you haven't seen the pictures, it's on my Twitter page at Chesegovia. Just give it a like or a retweet, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, man, it was pretty cool, man. It's pretty awesome. Now I'm just waiting for the Dynamo to send me something.
Shoot, it's easier to get recognized by a national brand than it is to get recognized by your own home club, right?
Did we get recognized by the Premier League? Is that what's going on here? I mean, are we bigger in England than we are in Houston?
I mean, you do run LeBlanca, let's be honest. So, you know,
Yeah, but dude, it was a cool feeling. It was a cool gesture, man. Like I said, it was really unexpected, and like I said, I felt like a 5-year-old kid Christmas morning opening up the big box underneath the tree. So, yeah, man, it was awesome. But yeah, but anyways, enough AFC Richmond stuff, enough Ted Lasso stuff. Well, y'all do that on your own personal time. We're here to talk Dynamo and Dynamo home opener against Broccoli FC. Hey, first and foremost, round of applause to Violetta FC from Haiti, man. Those guys, hey, they held it down. Obviously the whole this is what I don't understand, man. How are you gonna have a continental tournament between teams from all over your region and you're not gonna allow these players to come into the country or go into your country? This is one of the things that just mind boggles me. I mean, look, I understand that there's situations that have happened that where players they escape or they leave and they try to get asylum or whatever by staying here and I understand that, but man, dude, like I mean, this y'all have had Concacaf has had 6 months since the last team was announced for this tournament to find a neutral site if the of all teams couldn't be if all players for those teams couldn't be involved, you know. But whatever, that's Concacaf for you. It is what it is. But shout out Valletta FC knocking out Broccoli FC 3-2 on aggregate. I guess tomorrow we find out who they face in the quarterfinals. But yeah, man, Sean. Obviously, we're doing the show because Dynamo home openers this Saturday. Against Broccoli FC. We want to talk a little bit about that, about what's coming on along our way. We want to talk about obviously, hopefully, we get the season debut of Hamid Bassi. And whatever else is on your mind. So, Sean, what are your thoughts for this Saturday, man? First and foremost, are you going to be there?
yes. I will
Awesome.
be there. Yeah.
Awesome.
You know who I hope shows up too?
Who?
Sebastian Ferreira, and I hope our damn coach keeps him on the damn pitch instead of putting him on the damn bench.
Oh, man, look, I already spent a whole show last time talking about it, so
I got to get you riled up, man. I'm sorry.
yeah, for sure, man. I mean, look, I don't know if it was this show or if I mentioned this in crossing paths with somebody or whatever. Like, man, if Sebastian Ferreira is benched again for this game, I'm walking out.
Will you firmly be on the Olsen out bandwagon at that point?
Man, I don't know. Like I said, I hate to be that guy 3 games in, but I mean, you're benching this would be back-to-back games benching your DP number 9 for who? For Thor?
Yeah.
Who didn't show anything against DC New England Revolution.
DC
So, I mean,
New England Revolution. We adding DC to their city list now.
Yeah, right.
Just kidding.
So I mean, it's one of those things where it just mind boggles, and then when you go ask him a question about it, coach's decision.
Yeah.
That's what irritates me about it. Look, if he did something wrong, cool, just let us know. Look, hey, disciplinary action. Everybody, nobody's above the law here in this club. We're trying to build a certain type of culture here, and everybody needs to follow the rules. Cool, I understand that 100%. If Sebas did something that was frowned upon, sit his ass on the bench. Cool. Give somebody else a shot. But that wasn't said. I'm only assuming. And I don't like assumptions. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts, man? Home opener. How do you think we're gonna have a sellout crowd? I mean, it's a busy weekend. I mean, NCAA tournament going on, St. Patrick's Day. The temperature's dropping like another 30 degrees this weekend for hopefully the last time of this year. Who knows?
Hey, I'm down for this temperature drop though. Let's be honest.
I'm always down for the temperature drop in Houston, but what do you think? Are we gonna sell out?
I don't know, man. Last I heard we were over 18K, but I don't know how much over 18K. Stadium holds 22K, roughly. held. uh, but I mean, we're close. Obviously, 4K roughly tickets left is nothing. We're gonna call it a sellout. I can guarantee it. They're gonna call it a sellout. They'll celebrate it as a sellout. It'll be a pretty good turnout. Usually is for the home opener every year, but I still think there's going to be a bunch of empty seats as well. I'm not going to say like half the stadium or a third of the stadium or anything like that, but I think it will still be noticeable just how many open seats there are in the stadium, especially in certain sections where, business purchase tickets will be the primary like holders there.
It's funny because I mean the one good thing of going about for the club is the stadium. Obviously we've seen all the pictures. We've
Man, those
seen the
pictures
upgrade.
look amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoever taking the picture, whoever the photographer is doing a great job. But yeah, stadium looks awesome, looks great. Obviously they just dropped the list of new restaurants
Let's go. Some
inside the
local
facility, which
local restaurants.
yeah, all local restaurants, and I'm excited about them too. I mean, man, I might not be too excited once I'm paying the prices, but I'm excited about the new food, in there, especially to try out that trail burger finally because every time I try to get an opportunity to try it, it's a long ass line.
I
So
mean, let's be honest though. There's probably gonna be long ass lines inside.
I mean, we'll see because I mean, if the Dynamo don't start winning pretty soon, it might be,
That's true. That's true. By the end of the season, you'll be able to get one on a
so
dirt cheap because they'll be trying to get
yeah,
rid of
so,
them
so
suckers.
I mean, I don't know about dirt cheap, but I mean, at least there won't be the line. At least the line won't be there.
That'd be cheap.
But
They always do
but
that. They always do that like last couple of matches of the season, trying to get rid of the excess food.
yeah, yeah, man. So I mean, it's hopefully, like I said, being an in-state rival coming to open up this season, we'll have a sellout crowd, and it won't just be a sellout per se. It'll be the actual sellout where we won't see that many empty seats. Man, I haven't had a chance to look at the NCAA schedule because obviously the Cougs is something that's we have to keep in mind. Obviously going on with that going on, so I'm not sure what time they play. I don't know if they play tomorrow or if it's Saturday. I'm not too sure. If somebody out there can let me know, shut it out, put it in the chat. It's all good. But yeah, man. So what are your thoughts? I mean, obviously, Austin coming in with the devastating loss in CONCACAF Champions League the first time. Some people are calling it, and I'm on this bandwagon as well. The worst loss for MLS team in this competition.
Yeah,
The
it warms the heart a little bit that it was
it does.
Aston that lost to Violeta of all teams.
Mhm.
A team that had to fight CONCACAF and sign a bunch of players, veteran players that are domestic U.S. players, effectively, in order to fill their bench, so they could even have backup players available. But even more to the point, the fact that Austin played their best 11 and still lost. This is a team that needed a goal. And Violete's keeper played unbelievable and did really well.
Backup keeper.
Oh, that's right, their backup keeper. Yeah, their starter couldn't even play. But even bigger is the fact, again, they started their starting 11, right? So that means that you got guys that played Saturday last week, they played Wednesday this week. If they're coming in here and playing Saturday, again, or even if they're not starting and they just come in halfway through the match or whatever, that's an advantage to the Dynamo, or at least it should be.
It should be.
It should be. And all I know is in the home opener, Ben better not be putting out a lineup that says defense, that screams defense. This better be an attack-oriented lineup from the jump. Because if he puts a defensive lineup out there, I mean, it's going to be real bad to watch.
Yeah, I mean, look at home, you should be the aggressor, regardless
every
of
time.
who comes,
Every time.
regardless of who comes in. And obviously, we were taking into account that Aston's coming in with tired legs, broken emotions, broken hearts, and things of that nature. So we don't want to give them reason to smile. We want to give them a reason to continue frowning and bitching about Houston. But shout out to the rest of the MLS, man, on CONCACAF. Aside from them, I mean, LAFC, advances. Vancouver Whitecaps advanced. Man, Orlando City, a heartbreaker, man, against Tigres. Man, I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch that game at the end, but man, that bicycle kick at the end against Tigres, it was amazing for Orlando's number 9, and they had an opportunity to score the go ahead goal to win, but just wasn't for them. So, Philadelphia, obviously advances. So, I mean, MLS is having a good showing this year. Liga MX is not as much. Atlas did come up, did the turnaround. And obviously Tigres, like I mentioned, Leon is playing right now, so we'll see what happens with those guys. And Pachuca is tied on aggregate right now, and they play later on. So we'll see what happens with the Liga MX teams. But yeah, man, as far as Dynamo goes with this opening game, I think that this is the perfect opportunity to go out there and be as aggressive as possible against tired legs. The one thing that I will highlight about Aston and their squad is Drusy, for whether we like to admit it or not, he is that guy for that squad, and it shows you what a top notch player can do for a team, because realistically, you take Drusy away from the Austin, and they're the Dynamo, realistically, you know. Um, so I mean, it just they invest their money in a player who can score goals and who can assist, and unfortunately for us, Dynamo invested their money in a name and a nationality and a player who could hopefully bring butts and seats, but somebody that doesn't really directly, benefit us as far as goals and assists come and go with. But we'll see. I mean, like I said, um, I hope that Olsen's plan is to take advantage of Aston and go out there and just smash them. So I don't want to see a 1-0. I don't want to see a 2-1 game. I want to see an annihilation. I want to see these guys being given the opportunity to showcase their skills and to express themselves on the pitch. And to go out there and show and give us hope. And say, like, what, these 2 games on the road, there were 2 games on the road, we're trying to get things situated, whatever, blah blah. Don't worry about those 2 games. They're erased back of the memory. This season starts now. I want to see a 3-0, 4-0, if possible. But will it happen? I don't know. I mean, I guess at this point I should just be hoping for a win, but we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping. I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna be a hopeless romantic with the Dynamo and hope for something nice, real good this Saturday.
Hot take. Amin Bassi is better than Druisi. That's what Tom Cisco. That is a hot take. I'm gonna give you that. That's a very hot take. I don't know if I'd go that far yet. And I give him a couple years, and I think he could definitely get there. But I'm gonna have to see it. I'm gonna have to see it.
Let's just get him on the pitch first.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have to see it. He's gonna have to play. Yeah, I think that the team are trying to do what they can to drum up support from the fans. The videos they've put out this week, we need the fans to come out and be strong and be loud. I think that's the right thing to do, but it also kind of leaves me a bit sour too, right? It's like, you want the fans to come out and you want the fans to support you and be loud and be proud and all that. But then your asses come out with what you showed us against New England Revolution, and you expect us to put forth all this extra effort as fans at home? Like, you got to give me as much on the pitch as I'm going to give you off the pitch, or in the stands. And I'm sitting here going, I don't see it, and I feel like to some extent with some of these players, there's the pride of playing, and I see that. But there's not the pride of playing for the Dynamo. There's not the pride of playing for the city of Houston. This feels like a bunch of players that have been cobbled together to try to turn it into a whole, unit, as opposed to players that are playing for the respect and the appreciation and the opportunity of the badge. And I think that, it's no wonder that We're about 18K, a little over 18K, Julio, from what I last heard. Little Julio. But I've seen Ivan Franco's name pulled up, called up twice up here. I Again, from what I've seen from the kid, athletic. He's got some pace to him. He's got some skill. But when it comes to putting the ball in the net or making that final decisive pass, it ain't there. And he's definitely
Yeah.
not beating guys 1v1 on the wing. So you've got to have another guy setting him up to give him the opportunity to even get close in on goal. He's another poacher type, very similar to me in the fashion of like a Corey Bird. Now, again, he's more athletic because he's younger. He's got more pace because he's younger. But it's that kind of player, a very much a I just want to be in and around goal. Very much I'm gonna put this name out there, but very much a Mauro Manotas type of player, except Ivan Franco plays on the wing. And so from what I've seen, he doesn't possess that creativeness to get that decisive pass, to get that key pass, to get that, to break a run and make an opportunity happen out of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Sean. Like as far as you know, he's not finishing. You can see that there's talent there. You see that there's promise there. And obviously it's his first two games in the league, right? And obviously the first two lineups have not been the same lineups, so we're already starting out with different lineups in back-to-back matches. That's been one of the issues that we've been having these last couple of years, where we never have a definite lineup, to a point where players can create chemistry within each other and know where each guy's going to be at, and understand their tendencies and understand how they move and things of that nature. And obviously it's because the talent isn't there, or whatever the reason may be. Excuse me. But it's going to be interesting if Ben Olsen and the coaching staff can identify some players, that are able to stand there and they're able to have them play together for X amount of games in a row, so that way they can build some chemistry and understand their tendencies and understand where they're going to be at. Like I said, Ivan Franco is one of those players that I believe the fan base is really looking at, to where they hope that, hey man, we hope this kid can show some skill, and help out on the scoring, because the Dynamo have been bottom half of the well, not bottom half is being nice. Bottom 2, 3, the last 4 or 5 years in scoring. You know, um, aside from the Mauro Manotas 19 goal season in MLS, I mean, we've struggled to even have a double digit goal scorer. Aside from obviously Sebastian Ferreira last season, but I mean it's something that needs to be looked at, because obviously you can't win games if you don't score goals.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
You can't win games if you can't keep them out of your goal, though, too.
That's true too, but the thing is, the defense is shaky still. I don't know what they're gonna do as far as that. Like I said, I'm still hoping that it's because it's the first two games early in the season. They still gotta get chemistry together. We still gotta get Franco acclimated, and obviously we still got Brad Smith and the Holland kid. I can't remember I forgot what we're gonna call him, but
DVK.
Yeah, there you go, BDK. We still haven't had him acclimated to the team, and things of that nature. So I mean, the guy who was the last player signed, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, is playing our left back position right now.
Davincio?
No, the guy from Colorado.
Oh, Tate Smith.
There you go, Tate Smith.
Schmidt. Yeah, Schmidt.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of one of those things where the signings and all that stuff are kind of late, and it's really showing, as far as how the guys play together at the moment, because you see times where they're looking really good, especially in the midfield, with Coco, O'Hara, and Arthur. But then the second half of the second game happens, and it all just blows apart, and you're like, oh shit, here we go again. Same old Dynamo. Doesn't matter who coaches them. Doesn't matter who puts on the kit. It's the same old thing. But let's hope not. Let's hope not. Let's be optimistic. It's the third game in, and let's hope that something good comes out of this. They say, Sean, if you look good, you play good. The stadium looks great. If the stadium is full and packing and loud and rowdy, then man, these guys need to go out there and play like they look good. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, C made a good point about Franco. He did say, Franco still looks lacking around goal, but I still think he's our best counter presser, which puts him above Bird, in terms of depth chart. I think I do tend to agree with that as long as Bossi is healthy. I think Bossi on the left and Franco on the right is probably going to be the move, although you can play Bossi on the right as well. I like the call out. Our leading goal scorer, Tate Schmidt, put some respect on his name. I think it's important to remember he's not just our leading goal scorer. He is our only goal scorer in 2 matches. Tate Schmidt. Yeah, if you had that on your Dynamo season 2023 bingo card, Yahtzee, you're a winner. Coldy says, can't wait to see El Bataillon. I miss them. We do. Trust me. I need that spirit, man. I need that, I need that vibe. But let me tell you what, the players better come out and they better play their asses off, because if they don't, they're going to hear it from EV. I guarantee it. You cannot come out and drop a goose egg on this match of all matches.
Yeah, I mean, dude, just think about it, man. It's home opener against an in-state rival. Beautiful new. Well, not I won't say new stadium, but I mean beautiful new amenities to the stadium. It looks great. The jerseys are great. So I mean, dude, as a professional, if this type of game doesn't get you up and going, I mean, I don't understand. Just off of pure emotion and adrenaline should give you enough to go out there and and make something happen. I mean, these guys are talented. I mean, look, Sebastian Ferreira and Ivan Franco are Paraguayan internationals. And Paraguay is not no pushover and combo. They're one of the better clubs, the better countries in that region. Basic, played in League One in France, and he was in League Two as well, with Metz, and Metz is a renowned team in France. That's a known club over there. And obviously Hector Herrera and what he brings, being Mexico's captain and being involved in 3 World Cups and playing for Atletico Madrid and Porto, winning championships over there. We know what he brings to the table. And obviously the whole MO from these offseason signings was that all these guys are champions. All these guys have won some type of championship.
Could have fooled me by the way they've been playing.
Yeah, so let's show that championship spirit then. Let's show that what's going on, and let's show that that they want to bring that attitude to Houston, and they want to make Houston a champion. I mean, look, it's great that you did that in the past, but what are you doing now?
Yep.
I mean, you're getting paid for what you're going to do now, not what you did in the past. So we'll see what's up, man. I'm like I said, I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible. I'm not even going to worry about the 2 road games. I think it was Cisco who mentioned it in the chat earlier. Dynamo on the road or Dynamo on the road. That's always going to be the case, no matter the coach. So I guess we just gotta deal with that and hope that we can bump together a couple of road points just to make it a fascinating season this year, so that way we can fight for a playoff spot. But at home we should be able to defend home. We should be able to be aggressive. We should be able to score goals, and especially if the crowd is out there supporting. And like you mentioned, if it's technically a sellout and it looks like it, then it should be, let's go.
Yeah, I got to keep asking, playing that devil's advocate though. What if it's not? What if it is a sellout, and what if the players just come out and they drop a goose egg? That's gonna be seriously detrimental. Because I've got it in Zoom, Jeff. That's my fault. Yeah, against Tired Legs of Austin, and come out and they drop a goose egg. They can't score on Austin. Like, what does that say? What does that leave the fans with in terms of the rest of the season? Like, is there any hope at that point? Like, I hope we're not. I'm going to use the word hope, but I hope we're not going to be in that position to have to answer that question. But I think the reality is we cannot ignore it as a possibility. We have to count it as a possibility. And I don't know. Well, we will see for sure. We will see. We'll find out if it goes that way or not. Oh, look, he's pulling out little Diesel.
Little Diesel, yeah. He's still upset, but I mean, he's a little okay because he had a week off. But yeah, man, it's man. I just don't want to think that. I mean, obviously, like everything's pointing to it should be a good day for the Dynamo, right? And and that's what we're hoping for. But and the worst case scenario that it does happen, man, it's something that look, if you snip it in the butt early, you can save the rest of the body, right? If you take the venom out of the thumb, you can save the rest of the hand. Like I don't know. What do you do? What kind of statement can the front office make to show that they're serious about making this team a contender? Right? Like
you got to make a trade, and you got to make a big time blockbuster trade at this point. Like you can't, right? Like you can't afford to go out there and make these small moves anymore at that point. Again, and that is all predicated on if the team loses Saturday, and if they don't lose Saturday or they come out and they fight like dogs for 90 minutes and you see it in everything that they do and they have tons of chances, but they can't net it. Okay, and it ends up a 0-0 draw. I would accept that. To be honest, I would accept a 0-0 draw only if they come out for 90 minutes and it looks like a team that's on the front foot for that throughout the entire match. And it's just a matter they can't find the net. Okay, I can accept that. 3 weeks into the season, that kind of stuff's going to happen. Okay, whatever. You were getting one of your better players, coming off an injury in terms of Amin Bassi. Okay, you're like you said, you're still gaining chemistry. But if it's a loss on Saturday, and God forbid it is a blowout loss, it's gonna have to be. I'm not kidding. It's gonna, if you are the front office, if you are Pat Nasher, you are gonna have to make a massive move to change the fortunes of your season, because at that point there's nowhere to go. There's no bringing back the confidence in this team, because you just lost to an in-state rival in a match that you were poised to win because they were on tired legs after 2 straight matches in less than a week.
Yeah, man, and and the thing about it, it's man, it's gonna put them on a tight strand because they're gonna have to do something that they realistically they don't want to have to do so early in the season. Look, at the end of the day, it's still 3 games to start the season, right? But we're not just talking about these 3 games for this season, man. We're talking about last year, the year before, the mistakes of the year before that. Like it's not their fault because they weren't here during that time period, right? But man, you're here now, and
you've had time to correct the mistakes,
and your problem and our problems are your problems now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, this fan base has no reason to give you any more of a leash than they did the old ownership, because we've been through it. We've gone through it, man. What is it, 5-6 years straight now without no playoffs?
It's more than that, buddy. More than that. Oh no, yeah, it's 6 years.
7 of the last 8 years, I think. If obviously counting without counting the 2017 season.
Yeah, I want you to consider. Basically, it's been roughly a decade minus 1 year. We've made the playoffs 1 time in 10 years.
And that's in a league where 60% of the clubs make the playoffs. So I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and Houston's a sleeping giant, dude. Like, honestly, as far as soccer goes, like if they can just bring somebody in, to showcase and show that that they're for real. I know everybody thinks that, oh man, everybody wants to go to LA, everybody wants to go to Miami, everybody wants to go to New York, but nah, man, it's not okay. Cool, yeah, they're willing to go for $5 million, right? Okay, well, shit. I bet you they come to Houston for 7.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, this club has no benefit to them to attract players, right? You got at this point you have to overpay. Think of Man City when they first got taken over. They had to overpay everybody. And now everybody wants to go to Man City.
Yep.
And
Willing
they
to
don't
take pay
and they don't have
cuts.
to and they don't have to overpay.
Yeah.
They take pay cuts on some of them, you know?
Hmm.
But what I'm saying is like, you have to have this understanding. The front office has the understanding. Ted has to have this understanding. You know, if you want this to be a world class club franchise, you need to bring in the world class players, the world class staff. You can't expect the club to be world class if you yourself are not trying to be world class, or hire world class individuals to take you to that point. Um,
Looking
so I mean,
back, looking back at the Hector Herrera signing, it was something Rushan just said actually triggered my thought on this. Hector Herrera was the quintessential classic in terms of the last like decade and a half Dynamo signing and what player. And what I mean by
mhm.
that is right a big name, but what is his personality on the pitch? He's not a flashy guy. He's not a guy of substance. He's a guy of character and fortitude and professionalism. He's a guy that is strong and those sorts of things. But he's not going to be the guy to take the club on his back and carry it. He's just not. That's not his role. That's never going to be his role.
No.
And so I was thinking about that, and I think I agree with. Look, I've never been one that's been like, man, we got to get that big name player. We got to have that player that can come out and just have that bite to him and just be different and have that personality on the pitch, to be that dog, to be that guy that's just going to get up in people's faces, to be that guy that's going to be the Drew Easy, right? The guy that is on the pitch that is going to make other teams afraid to face you. We don't have that guy. There's nobody in this lineup that's that guy. Not even Sebastian Ferreira, and
Well, because he gets benched half of the time.
well, even if he wasn't, he's still not that guy.
But I mean, yeah, and I understand what you're saying. Like, look, this MLS is growing, dude. Whether we like to acknowledge the rest of the teams and the rest of the cities, they're growing, and they're leaving Houston in dust. And that's one of the things that I think Don Garber, the commissioner, he has a frustration with this not the city. I don't want to say that with this franchise, right? Because he knows what this franchise could be if he can find somebody to run it like the way it's supposed to be run, to spend the money that's supposed to be spent. Yes, if I'm Messi, right? Yes, LA, Miami, New York, those are obviously global cities, world class cities that I've been to before. I've traveled there before. I've taken my family there. I love those cities in America. If I'm going to go play, I go play in those cities. Maybe Messi's not the right player to mention because obviously money's not an issue for him. But like any world class player, let's say Luis Suarez. I think I mentioned him the last show, right? He didn't come to MLS because I think LA Galaxy didn't want to pay him a $5 million salary. Okay, fine. They have Chicharito. They still had Costa on there as a DP, and
they had
still had
Pavone.
they have and those guys too. So they didn't have the DP spots, right? And they couldn't really get around paying two forwards that are like $5 million each, right? Because that's what they paid Chicharito as well. Dude, why didn't the Dynamo jump on that?
Yeah, I like this
Like,
from Dago. He said he was listening to the Houston Dynamic. I'm going to tie it into what you were saying. Houston Dynamic Dynamo podcast. They made a point about how the previous organization or previous ownership would not invest as much so that they would be able to gain a profit from Ted. Do you think Ted as an owner is different? I'm going to throw that to you. Do you think Ted as an owner is different than the previous regime at this point?
look, as far as the infrastructure stuff goes, he's showing improvement there. He's invested a lot of money, and the infrastructure and the stadium and the offices and the pitch and stuff like that. That's great. He invested money. He brought in Hector Herrera, brought in Sebastian Ferreira. So he's shown it. But the thing is, like, the thing that I don't think he recognizes is that the Dynamo are so far behind. They're so far behind because of the way the franchise was left and the way the franchise was ran before he came in. And I don't think he understood, or maybe he understands. He just didn't. He's just not. I think he. I look. I don't think Ted bought this team to just let it be what it is and just make profit. I don't think. I don't get that vibe from him. Okay.
Same.
I feel that he really cares. He wants to do this, and he wants to do it as fast as possible, so that way we can start winning and bringing in the crowds and all that good stuff. I feel that that's the type of thing he wants to do. The unfortunate thing about that is that he is going to have to come out of pocket more than what he was maybe comfortable with doing. Because the fact of the matter is, this league is growing rapidly, right? And yes, right now, a lot of the clubs are making money because of the expansion fees being distributed, the new television deal with Apple, the new sponsorship deals, things like that, obviously. But those things are not going to be there that much longer. There's only so many cities that can be. There's only so much more expansion, that this league can do, right? And then obviously, depending on how MLS does as far as ratings and subscriptions with Apple TV, who knows how long that's going to keep going, right? But with that being said, after all that, the only way to make money is through your match day games and in your investments and what you're getting back from your city, from your merch. We haven't had a top selling jersey and over a decade. You know, it's always Seattle, it's always Atlanta, it's always LA, the LA teams. We signed Hector Herrera, one of the best Mexican players currently, and yet we can't sell kits, you know? uh, um, so I mean, he's gonna have to come out of pocket more than what he might have felt comfortable coming out of to get this club where it needs to be. Yes, having a general manager and a scout director and all the other titles that you have in the front office, that's great. But until those people can find diamonds in the rough that don't cost you as much and they provide a high, output, you have to pay for the world class player. You know, like we hit two home runs under the Matt Jordan era with Albert Elise and Mato Manotas, but we fumbled it when it came to selling those guys. We fumbled it bad, really bad. And I don't know if Pat and Asher and those guys are gonna find their own versions of Albert Elise and Mato Manotas where they pay dirt cheap, whatever, and they end up being valued, 5 times, 6 times over what they paid for. I don't know. Hopefully that would be nice because you need a couple of those players to fill out your squad because you can't just go pay for every position top notch dollar because the league won't allow you. But you have to come out of pocket, and that's the thing. They paid out of pocket for a player who, even though he is a great player and he's a world class player, he doesn't affect the game as far as goals and assists. I, Having a $5 million enforcer, that's great. Yeah, that's a great luxury, but I can't afford that luxury as a Dynamo club. I can't afford that luxury. I need somebody who can score goals on a constant basis. I need somebody who can assist on a constant basis. We don't have either. We don't, and that's why we struggle with winning games because we don't know where the goals are going to come from. We don't know where the distribution is going to come from. We're hoping. We're hoping. Look how much pressure we're putting on Bossy.
Yeah.
We're hoping that he comes in and he's messy, basically, and whether he gets anywhere close to that level or he just whatever, that's to be seen, right? But man, you're asking a lot for a player who's not even a high TAM player, you know. It wasn't even a high transfer fee. I think it was like somewhere around $1 million, if that, transfer fee. Um, and somebody who, quite honestly, he's a little petite, and this league is physical. You know, we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping for the best. I want Bassi to be awesome, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I liked what Jeff said. He said, Ted's invested more into this team than any ownership previously. He's not the kind
Oh,
of
for sure,
owner
for
that
sure.
will splash cash willy-nilly. We need the FO to maximize the most advantageous uses of that money. And I think that's extremely on point and accurate. And that's what I'm seeing, right? Or I'm not seeing, I guess, from the front office and from the Pat Asher regime is we're spending we're spending money, but I don't know if I'd say we're maximizing our return on our investment, right? We're
Mhm.
not getting the most out of the players that we've brought in. We're not getting the most out of the positions that we had available to upgrade. With what we've brought in so far, I've seen a lot of the same crap we did last year.
Well, this is what this is the same thing I mentioned last show, Sean. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like, you know, they say, hey, all these players are championship caliber players because they won championships, right? But then why do they come over here and they seem to suck?
Yep.
Like, why does their level seem to drop off once they put on a Dynamo shirt? That's what I don't understand. And the one player who's out there, battling, because I mean, look, it's not that I'm deriding him or anything like that, but Sebastian Ferreira should be out there every single game. There should be no reason, unless it's disciplinary or injury, that he should not be the first name on that score on that team sheet. And this guy, he scored what was 13, 14 goals last season
I
with
think 13 last season.
with minimal distribution, with everybody knowing that he was going to be the one getting the ball. You know that was it. Like, that was it. Anything, and the thing is, like, I don't see our coaching. Well, I don't want to say this coaching staff, because like they're only 2 games in, right? But previous coaching staffs build up the player. Like, yeah, it's great that we have legit prospects now in Brooklyn Reigns and Juan Casillas, but man, I don't know. I feel like, man, putting those kids those kids' careers in the Dynamo hands, man, I hope they keep progressing, because I don't know. I haven't seen it. Haven't seen it yet. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Let me ask. I want to piggyback on that though. Let's say it's not going to happen, but let's say it did. Let's say that the Dynamo decide, front office and coach Mendelson decide that it's time to go ahead and give Brooklyn Reigns the start, because what you've seen so far out of Hector Herrera and Coco and Artur has not been sufficient enough to warrant not starting Brooklyn Reigns there, because at least with Brooklyn, that there's still development time ahead of him. If they do that, is it more acceptable to see Brooklyn struggle in that position at that point? Or is it more acceptable to see Coco and Hector Herrera struggle in that position?
Are we talking about like next game?
I'm just talking in general throughout the remainder of the season.
I mean, it depends, because like if we're talking about next game, which is the 4th game of the season, or we're talking about like the 30th game of the season.
Sure. I'm talking before the midpoint of the season. How about that?
Shit, man. If we're talking about before the midpoint of the season, then we're in tank mode. We're in sell mode, and you better get as much value for those players that you can that you bought in, as much as you can, right? And I'm fine with it. It's something that's been needed. It's something that, look, we've been trying to cover this thing with a band-aid that doesn't stick on us for years. I've been on this show numerous amount of times for the last couple of years, as I know, especially since the COVID year with Tab, that they need to play the youth. They need to play the youth.
Yes, sir.
And this is before Dynados was ever in existence.
Yep.
They need to allow these players to grow. These kids, if they're really bona fide prospects, like we say they are, and we're trying to get these players out of our academy, and these are cheap players because we're building them up from our academy, right? We need to allow them the opportunity to play in these games, in these professional games. And we should have done that in a time period where the Dynamo were sucking, where there was no hope. This, like the last season, once you knew that you were gonna fire Nagamura, it should have been, you know what? After we fire Nagamura, we're gonna play nothing but our top rated prospects, our top rated academy players. However, the mechanism works to bring them back and forth. Do whatever you have to do. But did we do that? No. I saw Brooklyn Reigns play one game against Seattle for 18 minutes and they subbed him off. He came on as a sub and then they subbed him off after like 18, 20 minutes. You know, and Rushan says something on the tab, like Tab says, I want to win. Yeah, every coach comes in and wants to win. Look, we all follow the Rockets. Steven Silas came in and said, I want to win. Has he won anything?
Hell no.
David Culley, Lovie Smith came in as coaches saying they want to win. They win anything? Hell no.
They went away too.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Tab's gone. Paulo's gone. All those guys are gone. But the thing about, you know, Steven Silas and the Rockets, they letting those kids play. They're getting experience. So
Yes,
when the true coach comes in, or the true coach with experience comes in, they're ready to go.
I mean, they beat the Lakers last night.
All they got to do is get that world-class player to join them.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Same thing with the Texans. Right now, all they're looking for that franchise quarterback to join them. Right?
I don't want to talk about it, but yes.
Cody mentions, you know, Marcelo Palomino. Dude, they were literally harassing this kid to sign back with the Dynamo.
Yep.
Literally. And
how
dude,
many prospects in the last 3 years have we talked about, and they never saw the pitch ever?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
we had prospects in Dynados, we had prospects at RGV, we had prospects in the academy, and you're not going to tell me, I don't care who you are, you're not going to tell me that a single one of those prospects has not been good enough to supplant a Darwin Seren or a Memo Rodriguez or a Corey Bird or a Fafa Pico or, you know, or any of our center backs at this point. I mean, come on.
But see, Sean, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, where prior, obviously, regimes with let's say the Matt Jordan, Tab Ramos era, right? Once they knew that this team isn't going anywhere, and which was basically after the Albert Elise transfer, and you know, they brought in Ariel Lassiter, he didn't do anything, whatever, this and that. There was nothing going on with this team.
Yep.
Why weren't they playing? Why weren't they playing at that time Marcelo Palomino? Why weren't they playing Danny Rios, who was already being selected for the Salvador national team? Why weren't they playing, you know, Barlow had the concussion thing, right? But I mean, why weren't they playing these guys? Sam Junquist for all the high pick draft picks that you spent on him, you know, why weren't you playing him? Why weren't you giving him an opportunity? Who knows what that kid could have grown into, you know? I forgot who mentioned it. Dago mentions that why do these players leave and they become better when they go elsewhere? Because they have actual coaching staff that actually have coaching staffs with visions that have an idea or have a regimen to make them better. Over here, we bring them in and we're relying on their talent they have currently. We brought in Fafa. Oh, Fafa's a speed demon.
Yeah, let's talk about the Gitao brothers who just left too.
Yeah, exactly. So
I want to, you know, Doggo. The end of Doggo's statement here is the part that I think you need to keep in mind too. Parker's doing good at St. Louis. Tim Parker, who we paid oodles and oodles of money for, and Fafa is doing better away from Houston too. So, you know, I think the answer to the why it simply comes down to we've never had a coach that could utilize them right. We've always had these coaches that were development coaches. We've had these coaches that, you know, and Marcus talked about this. We've had these coaches that were youth coaches. We've had, you know, now we've got a Ben Olsen who what's the last time he won a damn thing? Won anything? You know, yeah, he's got a good record making it into the playoffs with a different team. But he's coming into a situation that was far worse than what he inherited at DC. Far worse than what he inherited at DC. And he still had a season where he only got like a total of like I don't remember what it was, 16 points in a season.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to look like we're going to have a 16-point season at this rate. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah. And I mean, think about it right now, man. The only team to not allow a goal right now is Nashville SC. And who's their goalkeeper?
Joe Willis. Don't start me on Joe Willis, bro.
I
That
mean,
one hurts so bad.
I mean, think about it, dude. No, think about it. Look, the best, one of the best games that I've seen in PNC, BBVA, Shell, whatever you want to call the stadium now, was the semifinal against LAFC and the Open Cup final where they went to the penalties, and obviously that was the year we won the US Open Cup, right? And dude, Willis was a beast in that goal, stopping those penalties. The atmosphere is great. In comes Nashville, takes Joe Willis because we don't rate him. We don't rate him because obviously we're so good at scouting players. We don't rate him. So Nashville, you go ahead and have him. You're gonna. I think they gave us like 100 gam or something, 100K gam or whatever it was.
We used it on Marco Maric. So I don't remember if you remember how good that went.
Marco Maric came in, disaster. Steve Clark, even though he might be a tad bit better, we're nowhere near Joe Willis level, and he's about to be 40. So we have no future. We're kind of hoping that Xavier Valdez it turns out to be something special, but obviously he's still a young kid at I think he's 17, 18 years old. So he's still a youngin. So dude, Joe Willis gone, Tim Parker's doing well. And we're the ones, and like Jeff says on the chat, we're still paying. I think we're paying half of his salary. Still,
we are paying quite a bit of it.
Which makes it a shame. And a lot of people be like, "Oh, well, Joe Willis is doing well because he has Walker Zimmerman in front of him." Then why the hell didn't the Dynamo pay for Walker Zimmerman when they
had the chance?
We pay for all these other bum ass LAFC players. When the good one comes available, why don't we pay for that one? Oh, it was $1 million in GAM. So who cares? We spent 500,000 on Parker. We spent 250 on Christian Ramirez. We spent another whatever on Corey Bird. And what have we got out of those three players? Not a damn thing. It doesn't make sense to me.
And here's the frustrating thing, right? All of that is frustrating. Don't get me wrong, but here's the icing on the cake. You look at the coaches that you have brought in the last 5 seasons, and I'll even go to the Wilmer Cabrera hire, I guess, to some extent. He had some success, but going back to basically Wilmer on, every coach that you have brought in has been a coach that was either completely available because he didn't even have a job, or a coach that was coming off a really bad season, or a coach that was in the youth league, in youth leagues, or the youth national team coach, whatever. You've never been willing to go out there and get a true big coach. And until we do, mark my words. Yes, I use the word mark in a punny kind of way. Mark my words, until we get a big-time coach, this club is never going to be a big-time club. And I say that with all due respect to guys like Pat and Asher, who are trying their best. But the fact is, you can try your best all day long. I could spin my wheels all day long in my truck. But if I don't have the V8 engine in my truck to haul the damn thing I got at the back of my truck, it's not going to go anywhere. You can do everything to everything else, but if you are not working on the engine, it ain't gonna matter. And right now, the engine to this damn truck is a V2. This thing's got 2 cylinders, and we're trying to go uphill, literally uphill, because we're so far behind the A-ball.
Dude, we're trying to go up the steepest hill because of how far behind we are.
Yes, sir.
It's I don't know. It's crazy, and I do agree with you, Sean. This starts from the coaching staff. If you don't have a true leader who can lead and who knows how to train and develop players, it doesn't matter. Look what Bruce Arena has done with New England Revolution. And everybody thought good old Bruce was washed. After he left the Galaxy, had that little short stint with the U.S. Helping them whatever. Everybody thought that he was done. Went over to New England Revolution. I think they won a supporter shield. I think they had the record for the most points in history of the MLS for a season before I think LAFC broke it. They've done numerous amount of things, obviously greater things than we've done anything for the past decade. Like why wasn't he ever mentioned, when we were looking for a coach at that period, during that time period? Or Bob Bradley before when he went to Toronto FC. Like why not? Because they came in here asking for what we should be giving them, players of world-class talent. Look, I don't necessarily don't think that they're not talking to world-class coaches. But when these world-class coaches come in and they have a vision, they have a distinct vision, and they tell you that, hey, this is what I need for me to succeed here, and you don't give them a second interview because that scares you away because you're not willing to invest that into that for that coach to make it happen here, then I gotta question your motives, because like I said, yeah, I'm sure they got and I'm sure they had some kind of communication with the agents of Marcelo Bielsa or Miguel Herrera or whoever or whatever big name that you wanna throw out there. I'm sure they had some kind of contact with an agent or whatever. But when they came back and they replied back to them telling them, hey, that this is what I'm gonna need to turn around this franchise, I bet you that was the last conversation they had with that representative of that coach. And that's where I'm having the issue with.
Yeah, I unfortunately I've got some stuff I got to go take care of. So we're gonna be cutting short here shortly, but I do want to end on something that was said too. The Dynamo had an opportunity to bring in Latif Blessing. He was available. LAFC were more than willing to part with him, and we had an opportunity. And Pat was like, "Nah, fam, that's too rich for my blood." And now he's going to New England Revolution. He's killing it over there. So I think Callow has a point. And look, I think Ted has the right motives. I think Ted wants to do the right thing. I don't think anybody can question that because he's investing. The problem is I think, and I agree with Callow, I think Ted's in over his head. Ted doesn't understand soccer operations. Ted doesn't understand that side of things. And he's given the keys to the kingdom to a guy who has proven that he does not understand soccer operations, because if he did, the moment he got here, he would have hired somebody who was right for the job and not Paulo Nagamura. He wouldn't have then turned around and hired Ben Olsen. We would not be sitting in this position if Pat had made the right decisions from day one. We would not be in this position if Ted knew more about soccer operations. Again, it's not a knock on Ted. Ted doesn't know any better, but it is a knock on the fact that he has put his faith in a guy that has proven that he is not capable of being the GM of this club. He's not capable of being the guy to pull us out of this rut. We got to find somebody, and it's not going to be a GM. We got to find a coach first, and a coach that is known, a coach that is going to get shit done, because this club has not gotten shit done for over a decade. I'm tired of it. We're all tired of it. Maybe we win it against Austin this weekend. Maybe we don't. I don't really care at this point. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't, because the fact of the matter is, even if we win, it's a false positive. It's a false hope. We're not moving in the right direction. We're not moving in any direction. We're stagnating. We're spinning our wheels. We're moving in circles. That's all we're doing. Cycle repeats itself year after year. Perfect example. You hired Tab Ramos. The following year, you fired Tab Ramos partway through the year. Then you use an interim coach who's trying to win, but isn't going to play the youth because he's trying to win. You turn around, you hire Paulo Nagamura. Halfway through the season, you fire Paulo Nagamura. You hand the keys over to Kenny Bundy, who's trying to prove that he belongs as a head coach, who doesn't play the youth. I'm coming back to the youth because the fact of the matter is that's the number one way that this team can improve and improve over the long term. Yes, you can bring in players for ages and you can build a team that way, but this team needs to find something special in the youth ranks, and we continuously ship them out to other teams because we don't have room for them to play. How does a team that hasn't won anything other than an Open Cup in over a decade not have room for a youth player to come in and play? You're going to tell me that these youth players, the players we've been naming all along, have not had an opportunity, have not shown something at the lower levels that they deserve at least a shot? That's bullshit. That is the mindset of a team that is trying to sell tickets and doesn't give a rat's ass about the performance of the club over the long term. With that, I'm
Agreed.
done. Sorry,
I'll just add this one thing before we go, man.
You're good.
I've been saying it, man, like forever and forevermore, and I'll keep saying it. Like, look, I don't expect the owner to know too much about what's going on as far as soccer operations and stuff like that, because he's just the owner. He's the money guy, you know. But when you go about hiring people to take care of the stuff for you, you want to hire the right people. And I've been saying it numerous amount of times, go raid Seattle's front office. Go raid Atlanta United. Well, maybe not right now, but go raid the top clubs' front offices. LAFC, Seattle Sounders. Those clubs who have shown for the past decade while we've been sucking, they've been on the rise. Go raid their front office. Go get somebody from there to see what the hell they're doing. That's so much different from what we're doing, so that way we can have a better understanding of what we're going up against, and we can try to compete some kind of way. And I'll leave it like that.
All right, y'all.
Prediction.
Hey, that's it. Prediction. I don't even want to predict it because I'm not in the right mindset for this. It's going to be a very negative prediction. I mean, the real prediction that I've got for Saturday is 2-0 Austin. I got no faith. I got no faith.
Hey, no. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, hey, look. We gotta be. Look, it's one thing to be a supporter, but it's another thing to be a blind supporter. Like you have to understand what your club is. Look, I've had fantastic times with clubs that I support around the world, and I've had shitty times with clubs that I support around the world. And regardless of their up or down, I'm still riding with them, but I have to be truthful to myself as well. I can't just be one of those. I'm gonna be positive about them regardless. Like, nah, I have to be legit. Like, look, I spend my money and on y'all fools, like buying jerseys or tickets or traveling to go see y'all. Like, I have a say. Like, look, y'all trash. If y'all trash, y'all trash.
Yes, sir.
But with that being said, I'm gonna say 2-2, a tie.
I see a 1-1 draw from Evil. I've seen various people talking about stuff. Well, I'm sure we'll see more predictions. I'm gonna throw this last thing, and then we're gonna call it. The show is gonna be done. Look, if any Dynamo player, any Dynamo front office person, any coach is watching this, and you're like, man, that guy is ripping us a new one, prove me wrong. Because the truth is, until you do, you are nothing more than the trash that I claim you are. Own up to it. Man up to it. Because it's about damn time you showed some balls on the pitch.
Well, hey, great job on the stadium, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for the new seats. I'll be using them to sit my ass in them while y'all are still losing. Not really, because I'm a supporter, but whatever.
Yeah, for sure. But with that being said, guys, we're gonna call it for the show today. Hope to see y'all there Saturday afternoon. I know the Surge are throwing a tailgate at Lot C. I know about the owners doing something at Texas Tailgate. Regardless of whichever one you join, or if you do your own thing, wherever you're at, we hope to see you at the stadium supporting out loud, and all that good stuff. But
hey, if you show up Saturday and you're at the tailgate for the Surge, make sure you say hi. Mark and I will both be there at least for a little bit. I definitely will be there for a while.
You see my new Surge kit, right?
I gotta pick mine up, but I'll be wearing mine.
For sure. But yeah, with that being said, guys, we'll see you Saturday, and hopefully we get a W. But with that being said, always remember to hold it down.